Hi everyone, welcome to Beyond the Evidence. This is the channel where justice matters. My name is Marv. I am a true crime fanatic, and I love to dig deeper into the mysteries of unsolved cases. Join me as we search for missing persons, uncover the clues in unsolved murders, follow along with jury trials, and we'll be a voice for the voiceless. I'll share with you the facts, the theories, the clues, the evidence, and the controversies that surround these cases. This is Beyond the Evidence. Good morning, afternoon, everyone. I'm following the state of emergency for the massive California fires that are going on in Palisades, Eaton, and Hurst. We've got 3 large fires going on. This has been going on since Tuesday, and it's continuing to get worse. Let me add to the stage here one of the networks that I'm watching here. As you can see, there is a lot going on. I've also got the scanner going on. They're asking for mandatory evacuations again of certain areas. And these fires are moving so fast due to the winds that they can't keep up with them, and people's lives are in danger as they're not able to escape. They're getting calls from people in houses where the fires are right there. And so it's crazy day. We're going to listen to some of the coverage and to the scanner here. I'll turn that up in a minute. But I've got 4 stations that we can look at and rotate in. And I've got family in California, and I know a lot of the viewers have family in California. Now this started yesterday, as I said, and some of the celebrity homes have been affected. I do have a list of those celebrities that have lost their homes or were forced to evacuate. Ben Affleck, Jennifer Garner, Eugene Levy, Mark Hamill, Mandy Moore, Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt, Diane Keaton, Michael Keaton, Jamie Lee Curtis, Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, Miley Cyrus, Alabama Barker. So that's a list I've got so far. Let me turn the volume on in here.
But they want to get some of the flames out so it doesn't blow an ember over onto another home and start that home on fire. So they're doing what they can. If we could, Andre, just look over here real quick. Here's another thing going on. They've been chopping down some of the trees near the homes. So some of these limbs, some of these trees that are kind of overhanging or close to some of the homes, they've got guys over here that have been chainsawing, getting those trees taken care of. So if those trees catch on fire, it's less likely the fire will get to the house, even though this particular house right behind it, there's or maybe a detached. I couldn't tell if it was detached or attached. I think it was detached, but a garage right behind it. That garage is on fire. The home at the moment looks like it has been saved so far, and let's hope that continues to be the case. Now, if we continue down here, watch your step again, Honor. We got some hoses and tree limbs in the street. This house over here, this is like I said, the one where the winds have shifted directions since we got here. When we first got here, the smoke and the flames from that were being blown so hard, this whole street, you could hardly see that fire truck right here in the street. It was blowing over the street.
Okay, so we do know that the fire embers are blowing over a mile long. So it's hit and miss. They don't know when these fires are going to pop up, where these fires are going to pop up, but this is how it starts. Ember goes, hits an area, and the whole area starts on fire. Okay, so that's what we're seeing here. These fire departments are working hard, trying to stop these fires, but with the winds being 99 miles per hour, it's very hard. Hello, Mustang. Hello, Phil. Hello, Miranda and Andrea. Thanks for joining us. Let's listen in here on this video.
Is there, but so this is 1 Street, Montana. Glen, which is down around the corner, just around the corner from here, there were at least 3 or 4 houses on Glen that were on fire, fully engulfed as well. So you've got those houses on Glen, 3 here on Montana, and that's just the area we've been able to walk around. So there could be more homes north of where we're at. I'm not sure because, like I said, we kind of got here and started just filming this. We haven't been around the whole area. Watch your step behind there. But yeah, this is, let's see. This is, okay. So
yeah, Andrea, that is the biggest thing right now is that they have not been able to get air takers up because of these winds. So they're running out of water. They're running out of gas. I just heard that on the scanner here. I do have the scanner on.
This is Carbon Medical Group Leader. We have Squad 88, McCormick 291 on scene. You're handling the chest pain off of engine 65.
So like I said,
Copy all. Thank you.
the scanner is continuously going about these fires. And like you said, air quality is getting bad. Yesterday afternoon, people were trying to evacuate areas. There was such a traffic jam that they got out of their cars and were trying to walk. So here you can see there's 4 main fires now. Hurst Fire, the Woodley Fire, the Palisades Fire, and the Eaton Fire. You can see the Eaton Fire is fair amount of distance away from the others. This is because the winds are taking these embers and they're flying through the air and they're going miles. Businesses are on fire. Homes are on fire. They have gas explosions going on in these areas. This is very life-threatening for the residents and for, the firefighters themselves. More than 50,000 forced to evacuate. Wind gusts have been over 80 miles per hour, so they've gone down a little bit. There's 14,000 firefighters, currently no aircraft. 1 firefighter has been injured, multiple people burned, and 2,000 homes without power. So this is crazy. Every year we go through this in California. Seems like this started with somebody having a fire in their backyard.
the more of the damage here. We're on Montana. Look at walk your step there, Andre. There's some hoses. There's some of the work they've done here. We're showing you they're chopping some of the trees down since we just walked past here like 3 or 4 minutes ago. That's how much they've gotten out.
All right, I'm going to stop this one, and I am going to bring you a different one.
Operations Yankee Zulu, come in. Yankee Zulu, go ahead. I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Available resources in the station.
4, especially given these sustained winds and low humidities. Like our Director of Emergency Management said, this is not a normal red flag alert.
Operations on D1.
All right, and that was LA County Fire Chief commenting.
Anthony Maroney.
I am going to rewind because I want to hear what they said fully.
In that area, but it is
To fight this event.
No, LA County and all 29 fire departments in our county are not prepared for this type of widespread disaster. There are not enough firefighters in LA County to address 4 separate fires of this magnitude. We were prepared. We did get state pre-position resources that came from Northern California that were up in the Santa Clarita Valley. We did hire additional firefighters from the LA County Fire Department and pre-position them in the Santa Monica Mountains. The LA County Fire Department was prepared for 1 or 2 major brush fires, but not 4, especially given these sustained winds and low humidities. Like our Director of Emergency Management said, this is not a normal red flag alert.
All right, and that was LA County Fire Chief commenting.
Anthony Maroney.
Anthony Maroney making those comments. And we are also waiting on a press conference with Governor Gavin Newsom. I believe you're looking at live pictures in Santa Monica where the governor will be approaching a podium at some point to deliver his remarks. But again, these are live pictures. And is that the governor approaching? Not yet, no.
Okay, when that comes on, I will put it on. I'm waiting for the governor to come on and make his statements. Yes, Miranda, they have fire bans and people don't follow them. And this is the result of that. It's crazy. These pictures, I saw a reporter last night. Right there, the embers were flying. The fires were right there. People were coming through the smoke with horses. Trying to get their horses out of these fires, or at least get them out of the stalls so that they could run to get away from the fires. And the one reporter, I believe, got burned by the embers because the winds were blowing so bad. You can see the smoke there in the picture. It is crazy. 5,000 acres. 1,000 structures burned in the Palisades fires. That's one town. You have family there, Michelle? Well, I hope they got out and that, that they evacuated. The evacuations yesterday were horrible. Streets were filled with cars, trucks. The people ended up getting out of their vehicles due to the smoke, grabbing what they could, and running to get away from these fires because the cars couldn't go anywhere. Okay, so like I said, I'm watching 4 different news stations. This is ABC 7. I also am watching KTLA 55, Fox 11, and CNBC. So let me see what they're saying here.
Soon, or a fire retardant drop. Just the fact that they're here in the area, that's definitely some good news. And they work a little bit of a higher altitude. They're not quite in those canyons and valleys that the fire helicopters are in. So maybe, hopefully, they'll be able to start making some progress on this fire and turning this into an aerial attack and basically seeing what we're very much used to seeing in a lot of the fires we see. They don't spread like this. They don't go from home to home like this because our fire crews and the air crews from the LA City Fire and LA County Fire are just so amazing at what they do. But when you have wind conditions like we've seen over the past 24 hours, they're just not able to do what they do because it's so dangerous even for them. So unfortunately, we didn't have that resource last night, and apparently we still don't at this particular time. Now, we're at a much
watching them. They've been making progress getting the fire out here, back here. They're actually the hoses they're on right now, the homes they're on right now, that one is on Glen Avenue. So it's the corner we're at right now. So these homes right here that you see, like you see back there, the one on fire, two on fire, it looks like a third here. These are all on Glen Avenue here. And Montana, when you get around the corner, you see this is over here, the detached garage. It is a detached garage I was talking about. It's a complete loss, but the home in front of it is okay.
In my mind, and seeing those things gone the next morning just was stunning and shocking to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bob, we're going to ask if you can stay on the line with us. President Biden is in town. He's in Santa Monica. He is being briefed by officials right now, and we're going to tune into that for a second, but we'll check back in with you in a few minutes.
Resources. We knew there was a potential for a significant threat to our constituents due to the weather event. High winds. I've never seen the winds in my 25-year career. So we leaned forward as much as possible and pre-deployed. With that, we had a significant amount of fire that occurred. We had an aggressive fire attack. The fire has grown from originally 10 acres to 10,802 acres as we speak. Wow. It's an active fight with our firefighters, and they're doing their very best to protect our people within this area. Interesting enough, because of the winds and the low humidity, we had a second fire also break out, and that was the Hurst fire, which is just north of that area. Again, this was close to 11,000 acres. This is close to 500 acres that also broke out. The information that I want to share with you is also the significance of multiple fires in the area within the city, but also the county. That's the second fire that actually came out, and we're actively engaged in that firefight. The third fire then broke out this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, in which we have an active firefight there as well. We're working with our local jurisdictions, our state, regional, as well as federal. So we're doing everything we can to protect life first and property next. We'll go ahead and then pass this off to Police Chief McDonald. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. President, it's an honor to be able to be here and be part of this and represent the men and women of LAPD and policing to support our partners in the fire service. What we saw here in the last 24 hours is unprecedented. I've never seen anything like this. Fires driven by the type of winds that we saw, up to 100 miles an hour. Our role out there is strictly support, to be there for evacuations, to get people out of the affected area, to be able to provide for traffic control, and then crime suppression as the fire is fought, and some may come in and try and take the opportunity to go into these homes and steal from them. So we're going to be on top of that. I just want to say the relationship we enjoy here, in my case under the leadership of Mayor Bass, but all of our elected officials, is unlike I think anywhere else in the country. We are blessed to have the relationship between police and fire that we do here. Unfortunately, we do this kind of thing frequently, never to this level, but I can't say enough about how important that is. And as we go into the next 5 years with the Super Bowl and the World Cup and the Olympics coming up, it's critical that we maintain those partnerships. So thank you for this opportunity, sir.
Look at that destruction.
Oh, sorry. Let me introduce my partner from the County Fire Department, Chief Tony Maloney.
Yeah. So thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to be giving you an update on our Eaton fire, which is east.
Where's the county start?
The county starts all the way up in Lancaster and goes all the way down to the Long Beach border. We go from the county line at Ventura all the way out to Pomona, 4,300 acres.
Wow.
So we have a fire east of the Palisades Fire that began last night. It's called the Eaton Fire. It's currently 10,600 acres, 0% containment. We have over 750 firefighters on the line. Unfortunately, 2 people have lost their lives. Residents have lost their lives at the Eaton Fire. It's impacting tens of thousands of homes, not only in the city of Pasadena, but also the county area of Altadena. And we're doing our very best. We just had our out-of-state resources arrive from Arizona at the Eaton Fire to assist us. Last night, as the Region 1 coordinator, I contacted the Governor's Office of Emergency Services. We requested 250 additional engines into LA County. with 1,000 personnel. We also are using our compacts with other states like Arizona, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington. Firefighters from those regions are on their way down to Los Angeles County right now to assist us. So thank you for your interest. Thank you for your attention.
They don't have a mic on, you can't really hear them.
Folks, the fact is that I've read the DOD, Department of Defense, to rapidly provide additional firefighting personnel in buildings. Also, California has required us adding 2 modular air firefighting systems units, so 2 more are being ready in National Guard, Nevada National Guard. 4 more are coming from the Northern Command. 10 Navy helicopters with water garbage coming down. If there's anything and everything wrong
Need to
with
put a mic up there so people can hear him.
and help reconstruct, make sure that it's back to normal. It'll be a hell of a long way. It's going to take time. Let's go to stay long and lead us. And I think you guys are ready about that.
By the country. Mr. President, just first of all, that major disaster declaration is approved. Next level of appreciation on behalf of all the residents here in Southern California. As the Chief said, we have repositioned assets this weekend in anticipation of these weather events. The complexity of multiple fires, the likelihood of these other events must continue over the course of the next many days. Impacts of over 1,000 structures already that have been destroyed, 100,000+ people that have been evacuated, lives lost, traditions, lifestyles, places torn asunder. This means the world to us, and just publicly, because I think it's important, the President happened to be in the region, in town. It's impossible for me to express the level of appreciation and cooperation we received from the White House in this administration. So on behalf of all of us, Mr. President, thank you for being here, but not just being here today. Thank you for being here since the beginning of this incident. With a 10-acre fire, less than 24 or so hours ago, deep gratitude.
It's astounding what's happening. I don't know what we do. My son was out here in the way.
Let's thing is, we believe somebody was burning in their backyard, and that's what started.
Good news is, great grandfather as of today.
So the governor was
As granddaughter. Baby girl, baby boy.
The governor was talking about the complexity of the fires because the fires are spreading and there's such great distance between them.
All right, we've been watching a briefing in Santa Monica for President Biden by state and local officials. Omar Lewis is there. Let's check in with Omar. Omar?
Yeah, we are just outside of fire station number 5 here in Santa Monica. You can see this crowd of people gathered outside of the fire station where we just saw the president's motorcade arrive about 20 to 30 minutes ago. In that news conference, we learned some new information about the Palisades Fire, that right now that fire has grown to more than 11,000 acres at this point. And we were in Pacific Palisades this morning where we could see the devastation all along PCH with people up and down that road there, left completely devastated with nothing left there, mobile home parks as well. And so we were just moved here to this location, as you heard from the president. Want to pan our camera off. This is the Santa Monica airport, right where we're located as well, where you can see the president's Osprey right over here as well. We know that the president was in town here to declare 2 national monuments over in Joshua Tree, over in the Coachella Valley, actually, on Tuesday. That was supposed to happen. That event was canceled. And then with this fire and the winds that we're seeing here, that is exactly why the president wound up here at fire station number 5 here in Santa Monica to get information, to get updated from CAL FIRE and officials about the status of all of these fires that are now erupting in our area across Southern California. We know that President Biden and the First Lady will then be traveling from Santa Monica to LAX for their flight back to Washington, D.C. here. But again, that news conference, we just learned new information about the fire in Palisades. Many of these people here that we've been speaking to this morning tell us that they live in the Palisades. They were evacuated and moved here to this area to get away from the fire and are staying with family and friends here, and then found out that the president would be here as well. And so they came to this area to see the president and get any information that they could outside of this news conference that we just heard from moments ago. But that is the scene here for now in Santa Monica, outside of station number 5. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Omar, thank you for those updates. We'll check back in with you in just a little bit. We're going to switch over to the Palisades where Kimberly Chang is on the ground. Okay, so Kimberly's not ready yet. Kai, do you want to talk a little bit about these winds and the conditions?
Yeah, I do. And what we're looking at, Glenn and Lou, is that Palisades area, and look at the smoke, a tremendous amount of smoke, which continues to make its way out towards the ocean. We've got poor air quality, of course, here in Southern California coming from the Altadena fire as well, also up in the Silmar.
All right, let's check on one of the other areas here.
Just depleted all of the water in a rapid, in a short amount of time. And because all the hoses were on, they weren't getting the velocity that they might have needed to fight that fire. And very quickly, they said some of those water resources were replenished. The problem is, Tracy Park was saying, is that we have known about this for a long time. Why is the infrastructure not kept up with the times right now, with the amount of people that are living in this area? And this is still a really big concern moving forward, that we don't have the infrastructure in place to handle situations like this.
A lot of big questions, and certainly that discussion will continue after we get through these events. Thank you so much, Bob. And what a difference just a few miles makes north of you in the San Fernando Valley, where the Hurst fire is right now. So clearly where Bob is, a very different scene.
Things
Blue
can
skies.
change on a dime.
Yep, that's right.
The point that Bob just brought up, an article written 2 years ago where California officials actually refused the request for more water in communities who have the potential for more wildfire risk. These are things that we were going to be discussing for the days, weeks, and months to come. That is for sure. And want to remind everyone, of course, if you were watching earlier, we have Alex Michelson in Santa Monica. Beginning in about a minute or so, there is a press conference set to begin with California Governor and also President Biden, who is here. So Governor Gavin Newsom and President Biden will be holding a press conference, and we're hoping to get some answers answered, some questions answered in this process. By the way, we want to welcome Jen back. She's been on this morning. She took a little breather. I saw you went outside to check on the air quality.
Right. It's even where we are, where our studio is here in West LA, you can tell the air quality, no matter really where.
Well, you know the air quality is going to be bad. I mean, come on. That's a given. Let's check out this one here and see what they're saying. So this is happening in Los Angeles areas. This one here is just, showing the fires. And you can see how spread out they are. It ignites one area, the winds blow it, and it starts igniting other areas. Yeah, part of it is the lack of water, but some of it is the infrastructure and not having the right tools to fight these fires in certain areas. There's no sound on this one. So I am going to go back to ABC 7. If I can find it here. There we go. See what they're saying. I've got so many screens up, you guys. It's not even funny.
Around San Remo, right above Sullivan Canyon and Mandeville Canyon. There's a lot of fear that overnight the fire was going to make it all the way to the 405 freeway. That has not happened yet. Most of Brentwood at this point, from what I can tell, has not been directly impacted, although the fire is very, very close. But we are at a very dynamic, difficult firefight right now as we're showing you some live pictures on Rivoli. I have 3 homes here that are complete loss. Firefighters are having such a difficult time with the water pressure. That's something we've been reporting on for the last 24 hours. And I'm having firefighters come up to me and say, do you know what's going on? Do you know that there's barely any water pressure and we're having such a difficult time with the fire hydrants? And finally, within the last 30 minutes, some more engines showed up. They're getting a handle. I do believe that they're going to be able to contain it to 3 homes on Rivoli, where I am right now. But that is something that I'm dealing with. Something else I really want to share, Philip and Giovanna, that I'm seeing that just shows the dire nature of this situation that I have not seen at many other fires that I've covered, is that I'm seeing civilians show up. I met a man with a shovel. He said he's from Santa Monica. I'm here to help. I'm not a firefighter. I don't know what to do, but I had to come here and help. I saw another gentleman. He put on one of those safety protective vests, was running hose lines for the fire department. We are seeing that call of action. People from other communities seeing these images and coming here, and they are helping. I mean, that man that was running the hose line, I don't know if you see the amount of hoses in the situation right now, but with that low water pressure, it's very difficult to get hoses on these homes. And I want to show you, you see that tile roof in the distance. We saw they were able to save most of that home, although there was some damage in the attic. We saw flames at one point. And then further down the street is where those 2 other homes are. And that is really the situation here. And I wish that I could tell you that this is the only part of the Palisades Riviera that's on fire, but that is just not the case. We went up San Remo earlier. There were homes that were on fire. And so there's just so many different sections that are on fire still in Pacific Palisades. And as you can see, the wind is blowing. I said about an hour ago, I did see some planes circling, but I have not seen any drops, and I have not seen those planes now for about an hour. So Philip and Giovanna, maybe they went up, they checked things out, and then maybe they just felt like it was too windy. And the wind continues to blow, and homes continue to burn here. It's absolutely devastating.
Okay, thank you, Josh. And we're gonna talk a little bit about that ability to drop water from Gabe Santos. But I do want to, as we go to Gabe, I want to point out one of the things Josh was saying about people helping people. At the press conference this morning, I think it was very important. One of the representatives of DWP was saying, if you're not anywhere near this fire, you can help by not using water today. They are having to redirect so much water to these 4 fires that we're talking about. 4 times the amount of water normally used is being directed to the Palisades. You don't have to be anywhere near there. Just don't use your water today and save those resources. Gabe Santos is in Air 7 right now. And Gabe, what is it like for firefighters who might try to fight this from the air? Are the winds still too high down low to make those drops effective?
Well, Philip, it does appear that remains to be the case right now. We haven't seen those fire crews really work their way into the area as of yet in terms of the helicopters and the fixed wing planes, the fire retardant dropping planes. LA City Fire, LA County Fire, they have multiple helicopters, and we just haven't seen them in this area yet. So our best understanding at this time is that those lower level winds right along the surface where those helicopters would have to be working, where those planes would have to be working, are just a little too intense for fire crews to be making those low-level drops. And if, you know, as I'm sure we've all seen living in Southern California, seeing these fire crews, you know, attack these fires from the air countless times before, you know, they are in these canyons, they're making aggressive flight maneuvers, going in and out of those, you know, canyons and over those passes and whatnot. So, you know, we see how aggressively they have to fly. So it is understandable that in the case of extreme winds, that they would be unable to fly at that level at this particular point in time. Although, you know, we've been monitoring the forecast. Leslie Lopez has been telling us that the forecast, at least for the winds, is predicted to get better as the day goes on. So we're hoping as the day goes on, we're able to see that aerial attack start to develop with the helicopters and with the fixed wing planes as they continue to make an effort on the Palisades Fire and also the Eaton Fire, which we can see from up here in Air 7 at about 8,000 feet. That's where we're at right now. I'm still seeing the Eaton Fire putting out a lot of smoke, and all of that smoke is coming across the LA Basin, across the Hollywood Hills, and it's kind of mixing with all the smoke from the Palisades Fire right now. So you just have, you're beginning to have a air quality issue for the LA Basin right now, just because of all the smoke that we're seeing. And then again, you know, the winds once again at that surface level, and we're seeing it here depicted by the smoke continuing to stay pretty flat on the ground. We're not seeing the smoke, you know, hit those high levels that that we've seen in past fires, where it starts to mix with the moisture in the air and create those giant clouds that we sometimes see on massive wildfires. We're not seeing that in this case because the smoke is staying flat on the ground because of those winds, like we've been seeing right there at the surface. It's not quite affecting us or deterring us at 8,000 feet, but it does appear to still be an issue at those lower levels. And, you know, we're just continuing to take in the sites here. That appears to be a neighborhood near the Palisades Drive area that, you know, just as I'm getting a better look at this shot here, I was going to say that it was hopefully spared, but there appears to be a structure in the middle of the screen now that is now, you know, being consumed by flames. And this just continues to be the case even as the day goes on. This is not a situation that is, you know, we're not seeing a dramatic improvement in conditions right now. We're hopeful that that begins to become the case as we go through the noon hour and into the afternoon hours. But, you know, this is going to be a firefight that continues for the next few days now, Philip.
Yeah, and that home that you just showed us on fire in the midst of a community of other homes untouched by flames yet, that is a scary sight because we know those embers can travel 1 to 2 miles away. But when you're right next door to a home, you know, it's likely, and I hate to say it, that the fire from that home will spread to other homes in that community. And we're looking at so many homes saved right there, at least for the moment. But that could change.
Yeah, you know, it's still an active firefight. It is mostly a ground firefight at this point, but that is still, you know, it's still something that fire crews are worried about. And that's why the evacuation areas are not shrinking right now. They are, you know, expanding as the fire kind of moves a little bit further west, a little bit into the Malibu area, and, you know, fire crews and emergency crews are maintaining those mandatory evacuation areas because the fire activity in the whole Pacific Palisades area remains so high. Even in areas that we saw burn last night, there's still homes that are fully engulfed in flames as we speak right now. And the amount of smoke that this fire is still putting out just goes to show you just how intensely the flames are burning as we speak. You know, we still see a lot of brush in the hills above the, you know, Santa Monica Mountains here. Those continue to burn, even though, you know, you would think that eventually this fire would push its way to the Pacific Ocean and eventually stop. But there's just so many objects in the way, so many man-made things, homes, and then again, the brush and the trees, that is all just going up right now. It is definitely an incredible sight to see.
Okay, Gabe, thank you. And it's just been special to be able to see Gabe's images from Air 7. We haven't had that, and he is going to have to go land and refuel. So we're going to be without those images for a moment, but we still have crews all across the geography and topography of these 4 fires. We have Sid Garcia, who is in Brentwood, associated with the Palisades Fire. Sid, what are you seeing at your location?
We are at the top of Altamora Drive, and behind me, this was a 15,000 square foot home. We've been seeing it burn for much of the morning that we've been here. It's a total loss right now. The winds are starting to pick up again. As we walk down here, you can see what burned. On my right of your screen, you could see all the vegetation that burned, and then you could see where it basically just hopped over the street and got onto the property here, and it's destroyed. It's gone. The road, you see the pink on the top? That's the phosphatic that was dropped here about a half hour ago that pretty much nailed us. It got our van and it got us. That gives you an idea of the aerial assault that's going on up here as the winds are still pretty strong. We hear in the distance helicopters and planes. We've seen them both. A couple of helicopters flew by here. And as you guys were talking about earlier, sometimes when you get up here, it's just too windy to drop something because it just dissipates. But there was a lull in the winds. The plane came by, dropped the FOSS check, and then went on its way. So this part of the hillside is protected by the fire retardant. But you look around here and you see what the fire did yesterday. And off in the distance, you see smoke as well from our vantage point. You've still got some fire apparatus up the road here, this private road up here, basically just keeping an eye on things up here and protecting the structures that are on the other side of the hill here. And as you turn around here, you could look at the trees here. It gives you an idea that the winds are still blowing pretty good up here. There's a couple of little spot fires on the property here and along the street. For the most part, you got one house up here on the top of the drive destroyed. The mansion behind us, it appears, well, it's still standing. I don't know how damage there was done to it, but you could see where the fire burned all the way up to the property line as well. Earlier today,
all right, I think we are definitely having.
It was pretty dark about an hour and a half ago. The wind has blown that out. But above us, you can still hear the choppers. All right, around here.
Sid.
So up here, and a lot of smoke. And I know we're having issues up here with our signal because that's just how things are up here. But again, there's a lot of air activity around us up here in this area in Brentwood at the top of Altamora Road. Let's send it back to you.
All right, Sid Garcia, thank you for that report. And I know we're having technical issues, so I won't ask you a question, but the best news we heard from Sid is that there is an air fight underway right now. We heard that there was a fixed wing aircraft that dropped some phosphate, and he said he was hearing some helicopters above him. So that is tremendous hope that we can hopefully see in the near future firefighters getting the upper hand on these flames.
Well, and we do have Air 7 still up, still able to get some images. So you do know that they're up there. The problem is once they get down low where the wind still is so high, now that retardant is one thing because it's sure. going to spread. But when you drop the water on the fire, if the winds are so heavy, you're right. not able to precisely drop it. And that's where the winds are most severe right now, yes. is still at ground level. Because as Gabe Santos was telling us, as they head to the airport to get fuel, upper elevation is better. And also we heard from Scott Rife earlier, the difficulty for Air 7 is landing. It's not flying. When they're up, they're okay. But landing with the winds as high as they are at the surface, it becomes dangerous for them. So yeah. we're hopeful and, really hoping that they get back and get on the ground safely. And
This is a
continue
tremendous,
to do the work.
firefight effort. And we've got Shayla Girardin following the progression of the winds. We are hearing that hopefully by 6 p.m. they will die down, but they will start to slow down at noon. At least that was the last word, Shayla.
Yes, we are going to start to see that improvement as we get into the afternoon hours. Not as fast as we would like, of course, but every hour is going to make a difference. Now,
okay, I'm going to stop this one and go to a new one here. Let's see what they're saying.
Doing everything you can, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the hose cannot reach over there, but I went up there and it's on fire already. You can see it from here inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? I mean, you guys gonna have to leave?
No, I don't know. This thing has a lot of water already. It won't come down. But the house is going. There's no water to go over there.
All right. Thank you, sir. Yeah, he's the gentleman. We actually helped find this extension for the hose to try to climb up these stairs. Before this, they were down there trying to shoot the water.
All right. There's so many different stations, you guys, trying to
there, at least yesterday, going into this morning, they've been limited on their air response, so they've been relying more than they ever have on the waters coming from fire hydrants and that system, and it's just not made, it's not designed to provide that much water for this many fires in the region. Talking a little earlier, the director of public works for LA County was asking people, if you're evacuating your homes, not only turn off your gas, turn off your water so that they can have all the water available to them in the area to fight these fires and get it from the hydrants in the system here so they can try to get some of these fires out. But like I said, it's just a kind of we've said it a lot over the last couple of days, but it really is a game of whack-a-mole. They're trying to get the fires out they can. When they get one out, they got to move right onto another because there's too many fires and not enough firefighters to put them all out right now. And again, we're in Pasadena on Glen Avenue right now, near the corner of Lawn Street, LAUN Street. And also we were on Montana a little earlier, some homes on Montana engulfed as well. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Chip. Well, as you can imagine, it's not just people that need to be evacuated. There's also animals. And where these fires are taking place,
here we go.
A lot of people have horses. And Andy Reesmeyer is standing by in Burbank. I assume you're at the Equestrian Center, correct, Andy?
Yeah, that is correct. Yes, that's right, Glenn. We are just off Riverside Drive here in the eastern part of Burbank, and you can see behind me, looking towards the east, behind all of these stables, that massive smoke plume that is reaching way up into the sky. That, of course, is from the Eaton fire, which is in Altadena, some miles there behind us towards the east. And the good news is a lot of that smoke and a lot of the particulate matter there for the people in the eastern part of the San Fernando Valley is sort of going to the south and to the west. And because I think of those Verdugo Mountains, it's not impacting this area as much. But as you said, people bringing their animals here, especially their horses here to the Equestrian Center. This place been open for all night, essentially accepting horses. They told me they still have some space available here. So if people have not yet evacuated, or if they are in the process of evacuating and looking for a place for their horses, this is a place that you can come. And it's a little bit, to be completely honest with you, it's difficult because there's so much chaos. We've seen so much chaos in the county for the past 24 plus hours. And even the people who are here, who are arriving, many of them don't want to speak. Many of the people who are organizing this don't want to speak because they're just trying to get their animals to safety. It's also not super clear who's in charge at the moment, but they did say, yes, if you have horses that you can bring them here, and they're not turning anybody away, but there is still a limited amount of space here. They say that there are horses here from the Palisades Fire, horses here from the Eaton fire, horses from up in Sylmar, and as of course you can see behind me, a lot of these stables full. One of the things I guess that I'll tell you is that I've been here many times. I'm not sure if these are evacuated horses or if these are horses who also happen to live here. I was speaking with the trainer a little bit earlier who said she brought her horses here. They're usually here, and she's just been seeing a steady stream of people coming in nonstop for the past 24 hours or so. And as you see, let's take a walk, Paul. We'll just see if we can see some action of what's happening here. Like I said, this is at the Los Angeles Equestrian Center. If you're familiar with the area, this is Burbank. This is the eastern end of Burbank. This is not run by the city of Burbank. This is run by Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles. And one of the things that's a little bit difficult is that if you do have a horse and you don't know where to take it, you look online or you look on your phone and you say, where should we take our animals? It's just this place, and you call the number and the number won't be answered because they don't actually have power in the office. So I think a lot of people are just saying, look, I'm just loading up my horse and bringing it here. And I think for a lot of people, it obviously is working out. Let's see if we can talk to somebody here for a second. Excuse me. Did you evacuate?
I did not.
Did you? Are you here helping just oversee all the things, or what brings you here today?
Yeah. I just live a couple towns over because I knew there was going to be a crazy amount of horses.
What do you think of everything that you've seen so far?
It's crazy. It's awful. It's so insane that we have wildfires in January. But
what did you want to do as far as helping?
I just came. I have horse experience, so I figured there was going to be 400 head here, and so I figured I'd come and just help people move and give water and shavings and whatnot.
And so, what do you think that these horses need the most right now?
Just water and shavings and housing. I think they're building more stalls down the way.
So like temporary ones.
Yeah.
Because I know there was some concern about maybe if they run out of space or if they're going to have enough space for everybody. But you think for right now, if somebody's watching and they have a horse and they're in the area, it's okay for them to bring them here?
Yeah, there's space. Yeah, absolutely.
How long are you going to be here?
Probably all day. We'll see. Yeah.
Mm. Did you, I'm assuming since you have some horse experience, you've been here before.
I have not been to LA Equestrian.
Got it.
More familiar with San Diego.
And how do the horses deal with this kind of thing? Are they, obviously they don't really understand what it is.
Yeah, they're a bit stressed out. There's a lot from Altadena that are like scruffy little furry ponies that you can tell are like little like therapy ponies and stuff. And they're kind of cute and they're hanging out. There's a lot of show horses that are a bit stressed out. There's a lot of young horses. There's a lot of stallions. Like that's what we're doing right now is moving stallions to a place where they can be safe and not mess with any of the other mares. And they're kind of like shaken up. There are others like from Palisades that are really like, when I got here this morning, there was a tiny little filly that had never been in a trailer before. And her owner was here. The first time she got into a trailer was last night. The LAPD, there were like 4 mounted patrol officers that like drug her out of her stall. Like I saw the video, it was insane. It was like the stall was on fire and she was like the last in the barn. They had to leave her because they were practically like, they figured she could never make it,
Well, I'm so, what's your name again?
Aaron,
Andy, good to meet you. Thank you so much for what you're doing, and thank you for being here. I'll let you get back to it. So I know we got to wrap there, so I'm going to send it back to you. But I think the main thing to know here is that if you do have a horse or a large animal that you need to put somewhere and you're in the area, then bring them here. They're accepting animals right now. No one will tell us that officially or talk to us. That's very frustrating. I would be very frustrated if I had that animal as well. So we're going to send it back to you guys as we get some more information and hopefully I have a better plan there going forward. In Burbank, Andy Reesmeyer, KTLA 5 News. Back to you, Glenn.
All right, Andy, thank you so much for that. Obviously, if you have an animal, that they know that something's off. A horse, a dog. Also, if you do have small animals and you need additional information, you can go to ktla.com for all of the evacuation centers for pets.
I know Pierce College, also a big one in Woodland Hills. All right, let's get to Kimberly Chang. She, of course, covering the Palisades Fire. Are you on Sunset Boulevard?
Glenn, yes, we're on Sunset Boulevard. And if you take a look here, this is the cross street of Rivas Canyon Road. And you can see this house. This is what I was trying to show you earlier before we lost connection. But this home, when we arrived maybe about an hour ago, there was a column of flames. It was up in smoke, fire, and it has burned down, as you can see. If you take a look here on Sunset, you can see other home destroyed right next to it. But there are homes that have been saved. Let's try to take a walk down here if we can and move out of the way of the firefighters here. I can tell you there have been a lot of resources that we've seen in this neighborhood, a lot of fire crews from all over the state. We have seen them here putting out hot spots. Again, like I said, that house was up in flames and we could hear explosions, at least 4 or 5 loud booms. And now that has, they've put that out and now they are just going around the neighborhood. We can see here some of the residents. We actually spoke with this resident, Jamie Siminoff, earlier. He evacuated, or he wasn't here in town, his family evacuated. And then he came back in, he walked in from Santa Monica because he wanted to see how his house was looking. And he told me that it's a mix of emotions because he can see that his house is okay. Part of the fence, as you can see, has collapsed and has burned. A lot of his neighbors' homes, though, have been destroyed. But again, his property is still standing. Now, it is very quiet up here, though we have seen some people walking up to the neighborhood to take a look. Some people have rode their bikes up here. We talked to a couple of people earlier who rode their bikes up here to take a look at how their neighborhood is doing. We do have an interview with Jamie, but he's still here. So we're going to walk up and talk to him again live here. This is Jamie Siminoff. You might recognize his name. He's actually the founder, inventor of Bring. Jamie, thanks again for talking with us. You're putting out some hot spots here. Talk to me about what it was like when you came back to your neighborhood and saw that your house is still standing.
You know, I was happy that my house was standing, but literally just across the street, I mean, I have neighbors and I've known them. I've been here for, you know, well over 10 years. And, you know, it's just hard. It's literally heartbreaking. We came back, there were still flames coming out of this fence. My house is right behind it. And, you know, the firemen have been around and helping, and it's just, it's amazing that it's still standing. But I think the devastation here is just catastrophic. And I don't know, it's without words.
The wind is much different from what we saw yesterday. Are you feeling more comfortable?
I am feeling more comfortable. It feels like it just keeps going down. I have been trying to watch and make sure that we're not boxing ourselves in and have some escape routes here. I suggest anyone else do this, but we're trying to just kind of keep this down and hopefully that it doesn't catch more homes on fire. We can stop the line here.
Fire officials said that this fire has grown to some 11,000 acres. At least 1,000 structures and homes have been destroyed. You were on your golf cart earlier. You took a look around. What are you seeing?
You know, it's just, you know, it's amazing. I mean, it's just devastation. I mean, there's these houses are just, it looks like they were just wiped off the, I don't know, just wiped away. I mean, they're just gone. And so it was such a beautiful community. It still will be a beautiful community, but it's hard to see how much impact this has had here.
You said your family had to evacuate while you were out of town yesterday. Yeah. What was it like for them getting out of here?
They got out early, and I think that was a smart thing. We thought we were fine. We just wanted to be safe and also out of the way of all the emergency services. We actually walked back in, so we didn't bring a car back in. All right. You know, they got out.
And go to a different one. They're showing the winds.
Shayla, there's 7,640 households in the Pacific Palisades and 1,000 structures burned.
It's that we know of. That we know of.
That is the official number right now. But when you look at it from 7,600, 1,000 of them or more, it seems that this devastation is going to touch every single person.
It's just so heartbreaking. I mean, just watching this coverage from the studio, I can't even take my eyes off the television. It's so hard to see all of those families. I mean, these are not just houses, but they're homes. Still, it's so many unanswered questions, too. We are dealing with a once in a decade, perhaps even more than that, wind event when we are talking about what we've witnessed over the past 24 hours. And of course, we can never predict that it's going to be a fire event. event, but it has turned into that, sadly. But these winds are something we do not see every day. I pulled up some of the wind gusts we've seen over the past 24 hours. What's so fascinating about these wind speeds you'll see right here, these are not all from higher elevations. I mean, some of them are. Saddle Peak saw gusts close to 100 miles per hour, but look at this. Burbank Airport, Van Nuys Airport, Camarillo Airport. We're talking about speeds out by the airport. Burbank Airport saw wind gusts close to 85 miles per hour. Van Nuys close to 70. Camarillo coming in close to 60 miles per hour. Simi Valley, wind gusts at 77 miles per hour in the past 24 hours. I mean, these are incredibly dangerous, strong winds we're talking about. The good news is we are going to start to see them taper off. Not as soon, of course, as we would like, not as soon as those fire crews would like to see, but each hour is going to make a difference in that firefight. This is a lookout towards the Palisades Fire, where we saw Ashley just moments ago. Good news for those fire crews. We're going to start to see those wind gusts slowly die down. We're still talking about wind gusts at 30, 35 miles per hour. But as we head into the afternoon, that's going to lessen. We're talking about wind gusts 20 to 30 miles per hour. And look at the overnight hours slowly improving into the teens. Even tomorrow early morning, I do suspect we're going to see a little bit more wind than this as we get into the early morning hours of tomorrow, but not nearly the winds we are talking about today. And that's thanks to the setup we have. Unfortunately, it's still lending itself to those Santa Ana wind conditions. We have this ridge of high pressure off the west coast. And then down here, we have this closed low. It started to move south, but you'll notice just how tightly packed these pressure gradients are. It's still a lot.
All right, so that is great news as far as the wind gusts, because then they will be able to get the helicopters and the planes in the area and get them be able to use them to start containing some of this fire. Let's see what's going on.
Down, which is also a dangerous situation as well. So the majority of people have evacuated this area, but you do have some people like James who are still behind.
Certainly you want to leave that kind of work to the professionals. I understand it's tough to leave your life behind like that, but you're not going to have those memories if you don't have your life. You have to make way for fire crews to be able to get in there and protect people in that neighborhood. Thank you, Coco, for those images. Want to tell you some evacuation numbers now for the Eaton fire. This is reported by the Angeles National Forest just before 4 o'clock this morning. Over 52,000 residents and nearly 21,000 structures are now under those evacuation orders. As far as evacuation warnings go, over 46,000 residents and 18,051 structures are now under those warnings. So the Angeles National Forest also put out this update just after 3 o'clock this morning that residents north of Woodbury to the 210 freeway and east of JPL Laboratories are under evacuation orders. Evacuation warnings are now in effect for residents north of the 210 freeway and east of Angeles Crest to the JPL. They note an evacuation center at the Pasadena Convention Center there. And finally, there's new road closures for the Eaton fire. This was announced just after 6:30 this morning. So Angeles Crest Highway 2 is now closed from La Cañada Flint Ridge to Angeles Forest Highway. Also, Angeles Forest Highway is closed at Big Tahunga Road.
All right, we're going to go back out to Santa Monica where Alex is covering that news conference with President Biden and Governor Newsom. Alex, you're there? Okay, we will.
We're at the Pacific Palisades Bowl
momentarily.
Covering the Palisades Fire. Gigi?
Hi, Gigi. Oh, good morning. You know, the signal issues have been challenging all morning. So good morning, everyone. Not a good morning here on PCH. Take a look behind me. This is the Pacific Palisades Bowl Mobile Estates. And can you hear that wind that is just kicking up? The wind gusts have been extremely strong and they have not let up. And that is what continues to fan the flames of the Palisades fire. Just a moment ago, before going live, a lady came up to me. She had tears in her eyes. She asked me if anyone was injured here at the mobile home park. And she went on to explain she has a good friend that lives here and she doesn't know where she is. She doesn't know where they evacuated to. She doesn't know if she's all right. And she was crying and asking, do you know? And no, we don't know. know. We know that multiple people in the fire area, in the 3 fire areas, have been taken to the hospital, some with burns, some for smoke inhalation. But when it comes to medical issues, those are kept extremely private, and understandably so. She was in tears, and she left. She had come here, and when she saw the devastation, she went to her friend's house, and she saw that it had burnt to the ground. You can just imagine the pain that she felt for her friend, that she doesn't know where her friend is. I cannot see a single mobile home. There may be some way in the back that has survived this fire. This is very reminiscent of the Sayer fire back in 2008, the Oak Ridge Mobile Home Park, where almost 500 homes burnt to the ground. We were there. We met for days, for weeks, with the homeowners who lost everything. And I'll never forget meeting one woman, and she was sifting through the ashes, and she was looking for the urn that had the ashes of her late husband. And she said, how ironic.
Convention Center.
We have reporters all over this fire, and we've actually had Air 7 above the fire for the first time this morning. Air 7 has gone to refuel. Rob McMillan is on the ground in Sierra Madre, and it looks like you have great news in what we were watching a moment ago, Rob.
Well, we've actually moved to a different neighborhood, and it really seems like firefighters are fighting a battle they just can't win. They're doing their best to limit the losses, and that's what's happening here at this home behind me on Church Hill Road in Sierra Madre. You can see they're doing the interior of that house still very much on fire, but it does not appear to be a total loss. In fact, we've been watching as the fire department has been pulling out items from the home to save what they can. They've been pulling out boxes. We saw them pull out a large red telescope. Perhaps you can see it right there. So the fire department doing everything they can to limit losses. But again, even though for the person whose home this is, perhaps maybe even watching this all unfold right now, you got to think about it from the fire department's perspective. They need to make sure this fire is completely out, because if you go wide, Dave, you can see there's not a lot of brush clearance here. And it looks like there are a lot of these live oak trees that are just kind of scraggly in the area, reaching out, poking toward roofs, poking toward other trees. And if you go to the left here, you can see there's another home just off to the left. And that's how close this home is to the one that is currently ablaze. So we have firefighters from the Forest Service as well as the Corona Fire Department here, again, way out of their area, but that's what you see in these kinds of unified command situations. Firefighters coming here from all over the state, perhaps even soon to be from all over the country, because this is such a devastating situation here. Again, we're along the
I'm sure
southeastern flank of the Eaton fire as it's moving its way east near the communities of Monrovia and Sierra Madre. Back to you.
All right, Rob McMillan, thank you for that report. We had some technical issues with his report and weren't able to see all of his images, but thank you for that update. And we want to check in with Sophie Flay. She is also at the Eaton fire now. Sophie.
Yeah, we are at a lake in New York, and you can see behind me here that the smoke is so thick behind us. That's as you get closer to the mountains, as you go up lake and closer to New York. We know that the Eaton fire has already burned more than 10,600 acres, and more than 32,000 residents are under an evacuation order. As you guys mentioned earlier, there is an evacuation shelter at Pasadena Civic Center, and we were actually just speaking to a man on lake who decided to stay, but he did decide earlier to evacuate his cat. So I want to mention that Pasadena Humane Society has taken in more than 100 animals, and they're actually asking people to reach out to them if they are willing to foster a dog or a cat for at least a week. And I want to we had some bad service earlier, so we couldn't go live from this location, but I want to show you some video from Holliston Avenue. It was incredible work that we witnessed by neighbors. They were filling trash cans of water from one resident's pool and running it over to put out the flames across the street. Other neighbors using hoses, and they managed to stop some of the flames from spreading down the street. But as you can probably see, there are homes in that area on that street that are still burning, but they're doing their best. This is when, you know, coming together, knowing your neighbors can really pay off and help save homes and help save people. We also want to show you some video from Brayburn. We were there earlier today. This is video from the 1900 block of Brayburn Road, and dozens of homes there are gone, guys. And we spoke to one man who has lived on that street for years. They evacuated but came back at 5 a.m. to thankfully find their home still standing and began putting out the flames, walking through that neighborhood. The man we spoke to, he just couldn't believe his eyes.
It looks like a war zone. It makes me really sad to see such a beautiful neighborhood just get taken away in an instant. My mom and I were here at 5 o'clock in the morning, just watering down our house, protecting it, and thankfully it kind of saved us. But you know, some of these people weren't very lucky, and right now I'm praying and I'm just willing to help anybody who needs it. And yeah.
Did you guys evacuate?
Yes, we did. We went to my mom's restaurant in Pasadena and hunkered down there, and then we couldn't sleep, so we were just like, let's just go up, let's sneak up and see what's going on. And you know, we come and have the.
All right, we're gonna go to KTLA.
That smoke is moving because of the winds.
Yeah.
All right, let's change gears to get an update on the Eaton fire. We're going to go back to Erin Myers. She's in the San Gabriel Valley. Erin, where are you now?
Hi, you two. We're still on Calavera Street in between Allen and Sinaloa, and there are at least 6, maybe a dozen homes on this street that have been destroyed. And right now you can see firefighters. They are still battling a fire at one of the homes, all of the smoke there behind us as well. And what we've been seeing here is a lot of residents, they evacuated the area, but then they came back this morning to check on the damage. And that's when they started grabbing hoses and trying to help keep the flames from getting to other homes that were nearby. And that's what we've seen so much driving through this neighborhood. And it's really hard. We do see firefighters here right now. We've seen them on other streets, but there are so many homes still burning, even though the winds aren't strong, that they are spread thin. And we know that more resources are on the way, but it's just a matter of time at this point. But thankfully, yeah, the winds have died down. But residents, they've been on the roof. They're using those hoses to hose down their homes, to hose down the ones next to them. And I want to bring in Harry. He evacuated with his wife last night. His father-in-law lives in this neighborhood. Now, talk to me a little bit about, you guys came back, you and your father-in-law, your wife. Talk to me about what it was like when you got back this morning.
Oh, when we came back, there was fire everywhere. Whenever we came, the neighbor's house was burning down. We got here in the nick of time. Our bushes had already started burning down, so we quickly turned that off and focused our attention on the neighbor's house, trying to contain the fire as best as we can.
And then I know firefighters, they're out here, they are working hard, but it's a very difficult situation for them.
Yeah, very difficult. I could understand their frustration, you know, trying to tackle all the fires in the neighborhood. You know, it's not just one fire, the whole city's kind of burning, so we're just trying to stay calm, collective, and let them do their job the best that they can.
And you've said you've lived here your entire life here in Altadena, Pasadena area. How bad is this compared to what you've seen in your lifetime?
This has probably been the worst. We had the winds probably about 10 years ago, and that was pretty bad, but this is no comparison.
And tell me a little bit about last night when this all started. You were saying it hadn't even sunk in how bad a situation this was, how difficult it was, until you had a moment to sit down after you evacuated.
Yeah, we started smelling the smoke. We realized that the fires were burning. We looked outside our window and the hill was just completely burning red. That kind of hit us hard, got our things, got out, and then later on in the evening when we heard the news, what was going on, it kind of made us feel even more worried as to what's to come.
And then you were saying that your father-in-law, they haven't lived in this neighborhood very long, so what was it like for them to see this happening so soon to moving in?
Oh, I'm sure for them it was a mix of emotions, crazy emotions. You know, they've been in the Pasadena area for a while, but moving into this neighborhood and seeing the houses burn down, it was a scary experience for them, I'm sure.
And then when you got here, I've seen a lot of residents. They're saying they left but came back. A lot of people still here. Have you seen this a lot with people helping put out or trying to put out the fires in others' homes?
Yeah, we've been here since about 6 a.m. When we came, there was only a couple other people on the street putting out fires, but throughout the course of the day, a lot of the neighbors definitely came through and helped. You know, we had a plumbing company come out with their team, bring hoses, tools, whatever we can to help the neighborhood.
And then what is your family's plan now? I see some of them.
All right, I'm going to mute. We'll keep going back and forth. I'm going to turn the scanner on here and let us listen to that for a little bit, and we can watch the different images coming up here. Yeah, the 2 deaths were civilians. When I was listening to the scanner earlier, they had people calling in stating that they were in their house and, they were trapped by the fire and couldn't get out. So they had fire crews running to those individuals to try to get them out.
Reported 2 elderly trapped at an address. Advise when ready.
2 elderly trapped.
19512 lookout trail. 19512 lookout trail. Advising surrounding properties on fire. Copy 19512 lookout trail.
So this is kind of what I've been hearing all morning long in different areas.
Operations Division Papa on command. Go for operations. Operations Division Papa. The address of 20526 Pacific Coast Highway. The crew is advising that the house is burned to the foundation. Is there any way we can possibly get a updated address? Copy that. 20526 PCH was burned to the ground. Copy. Metro Palisades operations on V1.
So we're just listening here. I put on another station. I saw some helicopters in the air.
Operations Division Papa, go ahead. If I get a new address, I'll get back to you. Thank you.
So I'm hoping with the winds dying down that more helicopters can get in the air, more airplanes, and they can put the retardant down and contain some of these fires.
Branch 1, 9270 Charlie, on command.
So there's a few stations and I can bounce back and forth between those on the scanner too, but this is the one where most of the individuals are listening, and this is the one I was listening to earlier. I think these firefighters are doing the best that they can. We don't have a lot of information on the Woodley fire. They're talking about the Easton and the Hurst and the Palisades, but I have not found anything on the Woodley fire. So we'll have to wait and see there.
There you go. Hey, having trouble getting text out back to you, but I'm at fire station 70. Did you want to meet somewhere else? Negative, I'll see you in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This is from the helicopter.
No, we're gonna need to get the mapping worked out. Copy, go for addresses.
Time goes too much, man. This is just horrendous.
Yes, go ahead.
I'm gonna turn that one down a bit.
Copy.
All right. Let's go to this one here.
LA Palisades air attack. Looking to see the status on the bill for the two Type 3 voltage intertakers. Copy, stand by. Division Victor trainee from 40 Alpha, B1.
618.
For Victor trainee, on command, go ahead.
All right. Stop. Try this again.
Similar to today, lack of resources, lack of water. We're pulling resources from all over California just to kind of come and help us with this crazy wind event that we haven't had in years.
I'm sure you were pre-positioned. You know, we talked about those strike
everything.
teams. You had everything.
You can't prepare enough for something like this. It's impossible. I mean, we had 80+ mile per hour winds sustained. You can't stop fires in that weather.
Are you stationed out here in the San Gabriel Valley?
I'm in Santa Clarita.
So you came from Santa Clarita. I mean, the Palisades Fire. Hours later, you had Eaton Canyon around 6:30 just explode.
Yes, and then Hurst. It's just been ongoing nonstop ever since the wind started.
And 2 fatalities with this one.
I haven't even heard that, to be honest with you.
What about injuries with firefighters? Are they okay?
I haven't heard any injuries either. So
but they're getting through it. But it's been
everyone's tired and worn out, but we got a long fight to go.
So I guess what's the game plan if you're hauling water from other fire hydrants? What do you need?
Well, we need to get the streets cleared. We got a lot of citizens starting to come back in, and we're not ready for that yet. So that makes it hard on us too. And then we do need to get water, and we need our resources to be able to get to the incidents.
So residents need to stay out. I have seen so many people, neighbors, like you said, coming back to try to check on their homes, and they need to stay away.
It does make it very hard to navigate the streets already with the smoke, the wind, and everything else, plus wires down. And now we're trying to navigate through residents and I get it. They want to come back and see if their home is there, but we have a lot of work to do.
Can you share any stories that you've seen, or rescues, or just something you've come across that has just been, that we haven't been able to witness?
So last night, from the initial get-go, once it broke out, we had immediate structure defense issues, immediate evacuation issues, and the amount of effort that came from sheriff, fire, everybody to come together and try and get these people out of their homes. It was very, very touching, and we were scrambling to get people out of their homes to make sure we saved as many people as possible.
So going in physically lifting up, some elderly.
Yes, very much.
Ton of elderly
We had
people.
convalescent homes that had to be evacuated because some people are non-ambulatory. So we had a lot of work. Yeah. So.
Battalion Chief Brenda Simonian, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck to you, okay?
All right.
I'm going to make my way down to John Shriver. He has been right up close to these flames just to show you. Again, they're putting water on this, but this looks like, it just looks like a fruitless effort, right? You have a tree exploding in fire right now because, they just can't put water on it. And I can definitely tell the pressure is down. You can only put so much water, and then you heard it from the battalion chief, they have to go haul it from a different fire hydrant just to get back up here. And she's now talking to some of her other firefighters here, trying to form another game plan on how to keep this from spreading, although the winds are blowing west.
Sometimes one size doesn't fit all. Too big, too small, too tall. If you want to get the job, a one-size-fits-all resume won't do it. There's an easy way to create the perfect resume to get the job you want. First, we give you proven industry-specific bullet points and the right keywords to customize your resume for the job you want. Then choose a professional resume template to highlight your unique skills, education, and experience. We even provide professional advice, a powerful resume check, and tips to make sure your resume is perfect. Stand out from the competition, get noticed with the perfect resume, and get the job you want. Go to myperfectresume.com today.
Trying to find this one that Andrea sent to me. Let me check this out here. That's what's causing the numbers to fall. That's other areas on fire. Look at that house just go up. That's crazy. And that all happens from one ember just flying around. Oh, no, looks like this house is catching on fire. Or is that the reflection from the one across the street? It's hard to tell. A lot of people are going to be displaced with these fires and are going to need places to go. I hope they have a plan in place. Yep, looks like that was the reflection. But this is what's happening all over with these 4 major fires. One starts and continues going and causes more embers, and with these winds, just keeps going. And unfortunately, they said these embers can fly up to 2 miles. And this is what happens. One house in the neighborhood starts on fire, more accumulate, start on fire, and then the embers fly to different areas. And that's why we have 4 cities right now that have major fires. And not enough firefighters to even try to combat them. The only thing that can So, sorry about that. You can just see how it started in an area and how it affects the area. And unfortunately, with this winds, embers are going to keep flying, and they're worried about this going into Maui and other parts of California, other than the 4 major cities that it's happening in right now. Yeah, that house next door will be on fire soon. Nope, there you go. We've got another one started. Couple down. And as they were reporting, the issue that they're having are the residents are coming back into these areas to try to see if their house is okay or not. And they're asking them to stay away. They're also asking everyone not to use their water so that the fire departments have as much water as they can get, because water pressure has been an issue. That house is going up in flames very quickly, too. And this is happening all over in these 4 cities. So sad. all these people losing their homes. No, and like they said, they only have 2 engines coming. How do you keep up with something like this? You can't, and that's why thousands and thousands of acres are burning. And like I said, this happens every year due to the carelessness of someone burning when they shouldn't be. And lives are devastated because of it. And it's just so sad to watch this happening to these people. And you have to think about it. You know, you have insurance on your house in case something like this happens, but you have the immediate loss of the home, having to find a place to go when there's an evacuation. So there's extra cost to all these individuals for that. Food, shelter, all of that. Temporary housing until they can rebuild, if they choose to rebuild. It's just so sad. So very sad. So they're reporting 11,000 acres in the Palisades Fire, 1,000 structures burned. In the Eaton fire, it's like 10,000 acres burned. Not too much information on the Hurst fire or the Woodley fire that I can find. And they're worried about these spreading to other cities. Earlier they mentioned Brentwood, Maui, or I'm sorry, Malibu. Just devastating. And so many lives at risk. And because of the high winds, they cannot use the helicopters and the airplanes to drop the water or retardants. So we're hoping, earlier we saw a report that those winds were supposed to be dying down across California this afternoon and tonight. And we can hope that that happens because these fires are not contained at all. And these firefighters are doing anything and everything they can to help try to contain these fires. And right now it's just a lost cause because of how high the winds are and the issues that they're dealing with the low water pressure and things like that. Not enough fire trucks out there to stop the next one. So there's a new evacuation warning for Santa Monica, the mountains, and Malibu. We heard that may be coming because these fires are getting closer and closer to those areas. And now we have confirmation.
Yeah, you're coming in broken, but it sounds like you want me to come up with a plan on the East Topanga Fire Road. Is that correct? I'm just, we're coming into Fernwood here on the north side of Fernwood, heading south on Topanga, just looking to see what kind of work we're doing around the Topanga State Park area and pushing Delta where we can. Yeah, right now the only dozers I'm aware of that are even on scene are the 5 that I have, 2 LA County and 3 LA City. Yeah, copy that. Do you have a plan over here, or are you still pushing that east end? Yeah, right now we're getting more direct. We're working hand in hand with the air attack, working with, I'm pretty sure we're in Division Alpha at this point, but working with trying to tie some stuff in, getting closer to the black. Yeah, copy that. Are you moving north or south? Yeah, we're moving to the currently, and then we want to transition across the north end of this thing at Dirt Mulholland and start making our way back into State Park. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. That's what I'm looking for. So coming around, moving north up on that east end there, Alpha, and coming around the horn there, and moving towards State Park. That's what we want to get to because this thing's going to come into Fernwood. Okay, can we confirm if there's any other dozers that we can start kind of moving that direction besides these 5? As of right now, I don't believe any dozers have checked in, and you have what you have. Okay, we'll try to tighten this up on this end and then make our way over there, but I don't think it's going to be by the end of the day today for sure. Yeah, copy that. It's going to come into this area.
See, they're talking about it moving into a new area already.
The only good part about that is we have a 4-year-old bird car in there from the old Palisades, so it may be pretty receptive to some fog check. I just don't know what the weather looks like over there. Yeah, I actually think it's in heavier fuels right now, coming up that Topanga Canyon area. But looking up, I don't even know if you guys can even push that ridges with the rocks and the steepness of it. Yeah, I copy that. Right now, just so you know, the lower end of this thing is making its way to Camp Giuseppe, so I'm going to stand by in here. Going to work with Air Attack to do some pre-treating on the structures, and wait till this thing kind of moves past, and then I'll start bouncing that direction. Yeah, copy that. break, branch 10, operations on V1. Yeah, operations, branch 10, I copied all that traffic. Yeah, I put a request in for 3 Limas. I have a plan that looking at that we can push the end of Entrada to Topanga from Scar, but obviously that's getting the iron in here. I agree with what you're looking at. Or concur. Palisades operation, Ventura County, Battalion 26, V1. Go for operations. Christian, we're getting responded to a new start, PCH and Mulholland. About a half acre, we're getting reports of moderate rain spread. Just giving you a heads up. Yeah, copy that. Thank you. If you get on scene, give me a size up. I'm up in Topanga Canyon right now. It'll take me a bit to get back over there. Okay, but just confirming the Palisades has not moved its way towards Mulholland just yet, correct? This would be a new start.
Wow.
Confirming, let me look at, where on Mulholland and what's the crossroad? Where's that, PCH? PCH and Mulholland. Yeah, copy that. Are we looking at around Malibu Canyon or Mulholland? Just looking at the earth, it is not to the west of the Franklin burn scar. Our fire. I'll work on getting additional info, and I'll get back with you. If you have cell service, I'll land on it. It's mine, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm deep in Topanga Canyon, no cell service. Just hit me up on B1. I'll be up on listening to you. Back copy. Requesting additional information. Go for LA.
So we're trying to figure out where this fire is shifting to and where it's going to be going next. And right now they're putting a mandatory evacuation for Malibu and Santa Monica. And like we said, there's 0% contained on these fires because the winds have been so strong. And as you can see in this picture, you know, the smoke is moving fast, the embers are moving fast, and they just can't, the firefighters just can't keep up.
Are you in the area of Topanga Canyon? From up above Station 69 up on the hill going up to Tuna Canyon. Yeah, copy that. So you got good eyes on the fire's edge here, and you're working on that plan for that structure defense. We'll see if we can get you some more resources, and that's just going to be chunking north because the wind's going to help you, but it's still coming into thick stuff, yeah. Yeah, A-firm. We got one road operation, no fixed wing. Got 2 Charlies and 2 Golfs that we're working with right now, and if we get more orders, we have a plan to put them in place. But right now it's backing in our favor. Yeah, copy that, buddy. Thank you.
So they're showing here on this video where they have closures.
Operations from division Mike on command. Go for operations. I'd like to order some law enforcement assistance. We have an engine 151 from Ventura County, with some civilians disrupting some operations just south of Topanga Canyon on the PCH.
Civilians disrupting operations. They want
Enforcement on PCH by BNC 151 for disruptive presence.
They're asking civilians to stay away from these areas.
Division Mike, operations, we pass the message on to the sheriffs. They're going to send somebody to investigate that. Operations from Division Mike, can you repeat last, please? Just letting you know, message has been passed to sheriff, so get somebody down there to Bingham PCH and looking for VNC 151 help out. Appreciate that, thanks. Palisades Air Attack LA on V1.
So we do have one, looks like one plane, one helicopter, it's hard to tell, in the air trying to help combat these fires. So like I said, as time goes on, they are going to try to get more of them up in the air as the winds die down and get them in the air to help combat these fires.
Not since, I remember back in the 90s, over 30 years ago when we had the fires and the floods and the earthquakes and the riots. Have we had an experience in LA that's even remotely similar to this? The one thing I can tell you, having lived through these tragedies, is that LA is resilient. We will rebuild. We will be better than we ever have been. And the DA's office will be working with law enforcement to make sure that anybody who wants to take advantage of this criminally is going to be arrested, prosecuted, and punished to the full extent of the law.
ABC 7's Josh Haskell here, live with you with our District Attorney Nathan Hochman. We are on the border of Pacific Palisades and Brentwood at Sunset and Allenford. I believe we still have our anchors with us. If you're listening, do you guys have any questions for the District Attorney before we let him go?
I actually had one, and it's kind of maybe a simple question, but people have not frequently been victimized before, and they are going to be. What do? Simply call 911. Do they call his office? Where do you go if you feel you've been victimized in these next months and years?
Yeah, District Attorney, a question from our anchor, Philip Palmer. People that have not been in this situation before, been not victimized in this way, and who do they call? Where can they go? Do they go to your office? Do they call 911 if they think that they're involved in some sort of scam?
If there's an emergency, clearly call 911.
Okay. So
if it's a scam that you've been part of, make sure you actually contact the police department. You can do it online. You can do it through the phone. You can walk into a police department, any of the police department stations out there, and report that crime. Again, the important thing for people who have suffered this tragedy is I will guarantee you the scammers are out there. They're looking to take advantage of you. Don't let them take advantage of you. Report that crime. You have any suspicion about it. Don't go ahead and give your personal information away. Go ahead and report those people immediately, and then let us do our job to go after them.
And I also just want to highlight that everyone that we have met covering this fire, whether you're here, whether you live far away, so many people have a connection to this. So, you said you were evacuated, your sister lost her home, so many people impacted by this terrible tragedy, and we appreciate your time and your message. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Philip and Giovanna?
All right, Josh Haskell, thank you, and DA District Attorney Nathan Hochman, thank you as well for joining us today. Sophie Flay is in covering the Eaton fire. You were at Lake in New York at when we last heard from you. Are you still there? Did you move?
Giovanna, we moved a little bit. We're still on Lake. We're in between Alameda and Boston, and I want to show you what we've kind of stumbled upon here. These businesses completely destroyed here. It looks like a war zone, to be honest with you. It is really so shocking to witness this in person. You can also see here on the street, this truck, this car, totally gone. Across the street here, this is an auto body shop. They've lost all of the cars. I mean, the whole building. They've lost all of the cars. You can see Pasadena fire truck driving by right now. There was a cleaners here. That building is completely gone. That first building that we showed you over here, it was an herbal medicine shop. It was a tattoo parlor. Now those completely gone. If you take a look down the street, you can see a little bit more activity from firefighters here. They are working to put out the flames on multiple businesses. So far, it looks like the Altadena Pet Hospital is okay. But this is also a really the street is filled with businesses, but this is really a residential neighborhood. I mean, you can see kind of down Alameda Street here, a lot of smoke, a little bit of flames still burning there. So it is.
All right, let's go to KTLA since I found it.
In and out, you can see just the crowd of people. We've seen people with their pets, people with pillows, people in tears. I mean, it's crazy to see all these people and what they're going through right now. Now I'm going to come over to Paula Mariscal. Paula, thank you so much for joining us. You're with your grandson, Corey. Corey and you have been waiting so patiently to talk to us. And tell us a little bit about your experience, because I know you live in Altadena. You've been here since 4 a.m.
Yes, we've been up all night. We knew the fire was coming. It was coming from the east. We live on the west side. We evacuated about 3:30 this morning and arrived here at about 4 a.m.
And what was that like for you? Have you ever had to evacuate before? You sent us pictures, if you guys want to bring that up right now, send us pictures from your front door.
Yes, we had a standby evacuation years ago in the previous large fire, but no, this was quite chaotic and quite stressful. The winds were just howling. It was horrific. We just packed up the cars and got the kids and just stayed for just a few minutes, took pictures of some of the items in our home, grabbed pictures, our passports, our birth certificates, and just got down here and checked in. And it was, a great relief.
What you're explaining right now is exactly what first responders always say. Get your important documents. And it sounds like you guys had everything in place, a plan in place to get out of there. Any idea on the status of your home right now, and then what's next for you?
Yeah, we have no idea on the status of our home. My older sister did lose her home. She lives on the east side of Altadena. There are a lot of businesses that have been also destroyed. Unfortunately, we're a small community, and so these losses are huge. They're huge for our community. And so we're all very concerned, trying to take a deep breath and, appreciate that we're all together and we're all safe.
I can imagine how devastating that is for you guys to just leave and not know what's happening to your home.
It's very challenging.
Corey, buddy, you were telling me that you saw the fire.
Yeah, I saw the fire and it was really cool.
It was really cool. Have you ever seen a fire like that before?
No. The only fire I saw before was a campfire.
Were you scared at all?
No.
You're handling this like a champ. Very brave of you. And we hope that you guys, are able to get home safely, that your home is okay. We thank you guys so much for talking to us. And how long do you think you're going to be here today?
We'll be here today. We'll be here tonight. We have no idea how long we'll be, but we're here. And so we've seen a lot of people from our church, a lot of people from our community. So it's comforting to know that we're not the only ones in this situation.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Paula. Appreciate it. And then we're going to walk over here, guys. Like I said, I want to give you kind of an idea of what we're seeing out here. You folks approached me a second ago telling me that you guys are waiting for meals because you're going to be helping out. Carlos.
Yes, my name is Carlos. I'm with AIDS Healthcare Foundation, Food for Health Programs, and we are here to make a commitment to bring hot meals to those people that are affected by the wildfires.
How many meals would you say you guys are bringing?
Today we're bringing 500 meals, and this is going to be an ongoing thing for 3 meals a day.
Yeah, we're doing 2 shifts of 500 today here at this location. We work with Savosphere. They are doing 500 meals for the VA in West LA as well.
We thank you guys so much, and I'm sure so many people are thankful for you to bring hot meals. Appreciate it and appreciate your time. Before we say goodbye, I just want to give you guys a look inside, because this is where I said people are being stationed and taking shelter in the Pasadena Convention Center. We've seen
500 meals
so many
we brought.
people. So officials with the city of Pasadena tell me that there are 1,200 people here, including some of those seniors from elderly health care facilities that we saw last night having to be evacuated. Let's go inside. And so you've got dozens of people in here who have had snacks. I know that American Red Cross is working to help these folks as well. We will try to be talking to some folks throughout the day, guys, but this is kind of just what we're seeing out here in Pasadena as that Eaton fire scorches more than 10,000 acres at this point. I'll send it back to you guys.
Thank you. And speaking of, these are live images that we're looking at here, and we've seen them for a few minutes, and now they are totally engulfed. These are businesses, live images again, in Altadena, Beverly Way, and Lake Avenue. And these are, one was a real estate business, and I didn't actually get to see the other ones, but these are small businesses that have likely been there for a really long time. And we would have to guess this is an ember. Result of an ember, because there's no way. And just so much fire and flames here. We did just see the truck, the fire truck come through.
2 of them, actually.
Yeah, and you know, the car is parked there. It's likely going to catch on fire, but this is just devastating for folks who have small businesses on both sides of the street. Kai, it's so crazy.
Well, this building houses the Shakur Realty and Finance Company, and also statewide commercial insurance brokers, and a Theosophical Books and Library, which is right there in the corner.
Yeah.
Now
Also,
a total loss.
Notary Republic also in that same
So
building.
sad to see.
All right, the time now is 1 o'clock. If you're just joining us, you are watching our breaking special coverage of the wildfire emergency here on KTLA 5. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. Thanks for joining us today. We do want to get you updated on the major fires here in Southern California. We're going to start with the Eaton fire. It's burning in the San Gabriel Valley. It has exploded in size to more than 10,600 acres, and at least 100 structures have been destroyed. 2 people also have died, and there are reports of significant injuries. Turning to the Palisades Fire in Pacific Palisades, it has grown to more than 11,800 acres and destroyed an estimated 1,000 structures, many of those homes, and there's no containment there as well. The Hurst fire has burned more than 700 acres. That's north of Newhall Pass in Sylmar. And then the Woodley fire burned 30 acres in the Sepulveda Basin, but it luckily now has been knocked down.
Residents in Pacific Palisades and Malibu, as well as parts of Pasadena, Altadena, Glendale, Arcadia, and Sierra Madre are all under mandatory evacuation orders this afternoon. The fires are being fanned, of course, by the strong winds. 1,400 firefighters battling the flames on the ground. The use of aircraft was halted shortly before 8 o'clock last night due to the winds. Fortunately, we see those aircraft back up. 1 firefighter we know of has been injured, and multiple people have been burned in the Palisades fire. An estimated 200,000 homes and buildings are without power all across Los Angeles County.
And, you know, not a good thing to share with you guys, but apparently now there is a new fire. Rich Prickett is up in Sky 5. Where is this new fire?
Lou and Glenn, we saw some smoke off in the distance, and we came over here, and this is a separate fire that's burning. It's about 2-3 acres at this point. It's right near Leo Carrillo. Let me bring up the map here. We'll show you. There's a Pacific Coast Highway, and here comes a fire helicopter about ready to drop some water on what is remaining of this fire, but you can see it's kind of making a push uphill in that light to medium brush there. And so this is Leo Carrillo State Beach right here. So that's the areas where you'd set up the RVs and you'd head out to the beach for Leo Carrillo. And we'll head a little further up PCH, so we'll call it northwest. That's where this fire has broken out. It's been burning for, I don't know, about 25 minutes or so at this point, and it looks like we already have some hand crews that are here starting to stomp out some of the fire that looks like they've made some progress already, as you can see from the burn area, but it's still making a push uphill. They have at least one helicopter here that's starting to lay water down as well. The one good news I can say about this is it's not immediately threatening any structures. The vegetation is not very thick, and it's in the lower elevations, and they already have some hand crews on it. So I would hope that they'll have this stomped out here shortly. Just more evidence of just how dangerous it is out here with these winds and the dry weather, and just use some extra caution when you're in the Santa Monica Mountains today over the next 24 hours. I'll send it back to you.
Well, fortunately, the source of water to drop on there is right across the street.
Yeah, that's great news.
Yep.
All right, let's get to Aaron Myers back in Altadena. And
No, I
boy,
don't know what
she and Chip Yost
the comparison
both
is
showed us a
from
lot of
last year's
devastation, and
history.
again, another home on fire right behind you there, Aaron.
Hi, Glenn. This house actually has been on fire for quite some time. It's been burning for a while. Firefighters are out here, but the problem I'm hearing right now is residents are telling me there's no water. We just spoke to one who tried to turn on a hose to help, and nothing's coming out. I asked a firefighter. He said they are working on it. So right now, this house is just burning, and now the concern is the homes on each side. There are residents out here watching all of this. We are told this home was vacant, but the homes on both sides not, and quite a few people still here keeping an eye on things. I see one family, they're actually taking some of their belongings out of the house that they live in right now, which is just one house away. So still a very active situation. The winds picked up a little bit ago, but calm down. But this is a big concern here because there are so many homes right in this area and right next to each other. This is Calaveras Street between Allen and Sinaloa. And I want to bring in Leon, who's been out here since about 8 o'clock, your family's house on this street. Yes. You guys just moved here, your parents, and they wanted to come out and see what was going on. The home right next to them burned down. What have you guys been doing throughout this?
Yeah, so they rushed over because they hadn't moved in quite yet, and the bushes right next to the house were burning, so they kind of had to use the hose and do whatever they can just to stop it. And luckily, thank God their house did not burn, but unfortunately a lot of the neighbors' homes did burn down, and it's looking like a war zone out here. Unfortunately, it's like apocalyptic, and it's like we thought it was kind of calmed down, the wind stopped, but then you look and then the next house catches fire, and then half an hour later the next house somehow catches fire, and it's taken over most of the street. It's looking really, really sad out here.
It really is, CJ.
These firefighters here, they've been out here with just this home for at least over an hour and a half, doing what they can, and it's just gotten worse.
Yeah. We heard a lot of like explosions, like propane tanks they were saying were exploding, and then the tree catches fire because up here in Altadena, a lot of trees, a lot of greenery, and then boom, it just catches the next house, and then it's like you don't even blink, and the next house catches fire. So yeah, it's raging, and I think they have a lot of firefighters from different cities out here to help. To do the best they can, but man, it's burning. The houses are burning quick. It's like 20-30 minutes, the house is pretty much burned down.
How many people have you seen on this street, Calaveras Street, actually hosing their own homes down or other people's homes? Because that seems to be happening a lot on this street particularly.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that love the area, but a lot did evacuate, but some are still here and they're trying to do whatever they can, but the water is off now. The pressure was low, and it seems like the water is not working now anymore at all. So now all we could do is watch, unfortunately, and it's kind of helpless. It's a helpless situation,
And what is your family's plan now? I mean, your house still a few houses down, but as I said, the one right next to it is destroyed. Are you guys planning on staying out here for the time being?
Oh, I'm sure they have requested
if this picks up.
Yeah, I think that we're just going to stay and monitor. I mean, yeah, we can't do anything too crazy, but we're just trying to do it the best we can and not give up hope. Yeah, you hear those explosions happening back?
Heard that again.
Yeah, so not give up hope, just sticking around, do the best we can. Obviously not put ourselves in immediate danger, but if it gets too crazy, hopefully not. It seems like it's just a couple of houses here and there now, but it looks like half the street's almost burned. You know what I mean? Like every other house is almost burned.
They do have it. The last report was 2 acres burning uphill, moderate spread. We did send one VNC helicopter over there. I was notified that happened, but I just want to know this thing is established. It'd be nice to maybe help them out with some aircraft if we need to and keep that small.
They're talking about the fire.
Have eyes on the smoke now. Just want to confirm, did they started
They're talking about that fire on the hillside by the ocean by Santa Monica.
Branch 10, Ventura County Crew 14 is requesting to head to the new start on the Ventura LA County line. Your approval. Yep, that'll be helping out them. If they need that crew, go ahead and release them. We need to keep that one small.
Trying to keep that one small.
Crew 14, no, get them going that way. Okay, copy.
I mean, like we see in this video, it's so devastating. Look at how quickly these houses are going up next to each other, across the street, and then those embers fly in the air for 2 miles.
Division Yankee Zulu, strike team 9348 Golf, command. Planning ops, branch 10, on command. Branch 10, planning ops, go ahead. With all the traffic, I missed the area code on the cell number, please. 951-537-4043.
All right, everybody. I am gonna take a break here and get something. I gotta make something for dinner here. But I will be back on tonight following this. I'm sure there's gonna be more areas affected, more evacuations. So join me in a couple hours and we'll check back in on the progress. Like I said, hopefully the winds die down and they're able to use the tankers, the airplanes, the helicopters to help start containing these fires. Because right now they say they're 0% contained. 3 major fires now instead of 4. The Woodley one, they have knocked that one down and contained that one, but the other 3 are still raging and they stayed at 0% contained. So thank you for joining me, and I'll be back in a couple hours to give you another update on what's happening with these massive fires in California. Thank you.